Hey everybody, Nick the Record Lover here. Welcome to my channel, Nick the Record Lover on YouTube. And this is a reply to Lars of Lars Land, her YouTube channel. She had just started to get into the Beatles, and she really has a wonderful uh, appreciation of the group. And we're all so happy for all of her followers and people that love to watch her videos. She made a video about this album, Beatles for Sale. She loves it. She thinks it's heavily underrated. That was the last video that she did about this record, and it really is underrated. And this is just a response to her. I said I was going to be doing this video, and she said she doesn't understand why that "Honey Don't" that Ringo sings. It's the Carl Perkins song that Ringo covers on this album. Got only so many millions of views online that he should have more, that song should have more by Ringo. I agree. I think it's a great song on the album. This is an underrated record. It's always been one of my favorites to listen to. The songs I originally learned, most of them was from Beatles 65, that was released in December on December 15th of 1964. But today is the 58th anniversary of Beatles for Sale, released in England, December 4th, 1964. This is a 1970 stereo copy that somebody gave to me uh, way back in the mid 90s, and it sounds pretty good. It's a 70s reissue. It has the gatefold cover. Man, here's the label. It's a 1970s label. If it was an original, it would have the yellow Parlophone label, yellow and black actually. This is a stereo, and it sounds pretty good. I mean, for what it is, it has the original sleeve inside to say how to take care of your records. It's a EMI. It's an EMI sleeve telling you how to take care of your records, to treat them with care. And here's a mono copy from the mono box set from 2014. This is another one that sounds really really good. I also have the stereo CD from that was released from the stereo box set, but that was released separately, and I bought that one separately as well. The stereo separation on this is very good. To hear the tracks in true stereo really are they're really a big deal. You know, they're a revelation actually to hear in stereo, because this was 1964 and a lot of records were still coming out in mono. Mono was the thing in 1964, but here it is, uh, PMC 1240. That was the original catalog number, and they actually, on both the mono and stereo copies, have exactly who does what on each song. But I have to say that my favorites off this album are Mr. Moonlight, which was a B-side for a group called Dr. Feelgood and the Interns. And it was meant like a funny type of song, like a comedic type of song. But it was always one of my favorite Beatles songs to listen to from the Beatles 65 album. And when I first got the Beatles for Sale CD for Christmas of 1987, I really enjoyed it. It was in mono, and the mix was different, and I really thought it was a great Beatles album. I was telling somebody the other day about this particular photo, that the Beatles are, you notice they're not smiling on this camera, on this at this picture, in this picture that Robert Freeman took. It just looks like that it's the middle of Beatlemania, and they're just very. They said weariness. There was weariness, or was it wariness? That it's like, okay, now we know we're famous, but we're just exhausted to all hell. But the music is still great. Paul McCartney described this as their live set, their live show. But there's some great tunes on here, like Mr. Moonlight, No Reply. No Reply, John was told by a music critic that that was the most complete song that Lennon had written to date. And I'm a Loser is definitely a Bob Dylan influence, but John Lennon makes it his own and does his own thing with it. Babies in Black is a great waltz. Uh, Rock and Roll Music, great cover. John does a great cover of Chuck Berry's Rock and Roll Music. Mr. Moonlight, I'm sorry, I'll Follow the Sun is a great ballad written by Paul. And Mr. Moonlight, like I said, it's one of my favorites, one of my favorite John Lennon vocals of all time. And it ends with Kansas City. I'm used to Beatles 65 ending with the Capitol album ending with Mr. Moonlight on side one, but this actually ends with Kansas City on side one. And then we have Honey Don't, by Ringo, sung by Ringo Starr. and played along and played along with By George, and Ringo gives him the okay. It's like a rock on George one time for me, and they're just enjoying it. And Carl Perkins actually said he was in the studio with them that day, and also when they did Everybody's Trying to Be My Baby, which is another Carl Perkins tune, only sung by George and played by George. You could tell he was very influenced by Carl Perkins as a guitarist. Side two also has great songs in between. Like, there's 8 days a week. It starts off with eight days a week. Words of Love, a beautiful rendition of the Buddy Holly song. I mean, they're both great, but I always grew up listening to the Beatles version with George Harrison's 12-string guitar. It was amazing, and I love the harmonies. I love the vocals. I always love singing along to it. I get very sentimental listening to it. It brings tears to the eyes. Uh, Actually, Honey Don't is the third song on side two. Honey Don't starts side two on Beatles 65, the Capitol album, but 8 days a week, which is a big hit for them, started off side one. Honey Don't is number three. Every Little Thing is another great song. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful ballad that John and Paul wrote. I Don't Want to Spoil the Party. Great country rock kind of feel. Um, Actually, the lyrics were supposed to be, "There's nothing for me here, so I will have a beer," instead of "so I will disappear." Uh, and then What You're Doing is written by John and Paul, and it's more like a sing and then a call and reply kind of song, with Paul singing the lead and John doing the reply in the background, and then it ends with Everybody's Trying to Be My Baby. George Harrison's lead vocal with Carl Perkins as the writer, and he was also observing the session in the studio at that point. So this is Beatles for Sale. This is, like I said, it's a reply to Lars of Lars Land. That's her YouTube channel. Definitely check out Lars Land's channel. She's done so many good observations about Beatles albums and songs and books, and she did a great video about the new Revolver 2022 mix. She talks about how each song affected her personally, emotionally, and how she loves Beatles for Sale is just, I've never seen somebody with such a love for the album as much as me. But she really goes to town on it, and you really need to see the video. It's called Beatles for Sale is highly underrated. It's on her channel, Lars Land on YouTube. So this is Nick the Record Lover from Nick the Record Lover's YouTube channel, and it's 9:09. It's going to be one after 9:09 in another minute for all you Let It Be fans out there. But it's time for me to sign off and to start off a new week. And if music be the food of love, play on, give me excess of it. Good night.